Hey, welcome to the Industry Astrology Full Moon Forecast for March of 2024. It's a lunar eclipse. The moon is waxing, the energy is increasing, getting brighter. How are you feeling? The moon is waxing, and on March 24th, the moon will pass behind the shadow of the earth, called the penumbral shadow, and at the stroke of midnight reach its peak turning point in the lunar cycle. Feeling out of order, a little shaky or on edge. Maybe things have been shifting around a little faster than you had planned, or maybe just something is ready to change. This full moon is going to be eclipsed. It's a penumbral lunar eclipse, so it is not as dramatic. It's just the edge of the shadow of the earth that is grazing the moon this time. But we are in eclipse season, and we are going to be feeling the effects. I'm at the moment in Benares, Varanasi, India, the holy Ganga. Nice view of the town, Varanasi. This upcoming full moon lunar eclipse is the big holiday here, Holi, the festival of colors. It's also the first full moon of spring when life energy is celebrated. Rebirth, the power of life to renew itself, also the power of our hearts to renew and forgive the past and be present in a loving space with our family, our friends. The fact that it's also a lunar eclipse does make it more heightened emotionally and liable for intensity in some ways. So it isn't a time to be making big trips or journeys. It's best to stay home and celebrate this time with the people closest to you. This lunar eclipse does come with the shadow of Ketu, the tail of the snake that causes eclipses. Ketu is about the past in some ways. It is about the past karmas that brought us here. And Ketu also allows for the surrender, the giving up of the past as well. Is in the star of Hasta, Hasta nakshatra, the star that's symbolized by hand, 5 stars that symbolize the 5 fingers of God. And everything that the human being is blessed with through our hands, our ability to use our hands for creation, for writing, for playing instruments, for creating art and healing. So this lunar eclipse may have a particularly big impact on people involved with those activities. A very unusual, a very rare occurrence of Mercury sitting right on the Gandanta during this eclipse is accenting the sort of transformational energy that is happening. And that's one reason why I don't think it's a good day to travel, especially the days leading up to the lunar eclipse as well. Mercury is in a sort of neither here nor there place. It's between fire and water. And also Mercury is moving very slowly, about to station retrograde on April 1st, between these two transformational eclipses. So Mercury not only symbolizes travel, but it's also obviously technology, communications, exchange, and much more. It's how things connect, how things move and share information in general. So this is a edgy time, maybe a time to be looking back and reviewing, especially coming up in the next few weeks as we come towards these major solar eclipse that will be crossing North America. Millions of people are gathering to look at this eclipse. But in Vedic tradition, it's actually not auspicious to look right at a solar eclipse. So Mercury is the ruling planet of the sign where Hasta is placed. And so that edgy Mercury I was talking about really does have a big impact, especially as it's stationing retrograde in these next weeks. There's also an alignment of Saturn, this planet of karma, and Mars, the god of war, in what they call Yama Yoga, which is, Yama is the name of the Lord of Death, actually. And so this is a time when we really have to be praying for peace, praying not to see an increase of casualties in war. And so the fact that Saturn and Mars are together during this eclipse season is an indication that there is something quite hard and dangerous at this time in the world. Also, Venus, the goddess of love and art, is aligned with them. So it's a triple alignment right now we're seeing with Saturn, Mars, and Venus. And this can be quite difficult on relationships, especially because Mercury is not making it easy, perhaps, to really communicate. We have to be really conscious that people could be feeling more sensitive. There could be more drama in the air. And it is a challenging time for relationships, a sort of coming to terms kind of energy, this edgy eclipse season. Perhaps you're reaching your end point in a relationship, or you're needing to really review and transform the style in which you are expressing yourself. So this eclipse season is a chance to turn around and heal wounds around intimacy, perhaps around connectivity, around artistic expression even, or money, financial issues as well. These things could be coming forward depending on how it influences your chart. If you'd like to know more about how this lunar eclipse and the upcoming solar eclipse, the total solar eclipse on April 8th, affects you on a personal level, check out the Vedic Astrology horoscopes eclipses for Rahu and Ketu, pre-recorded back in October of 2023, part of the Navaratri Cauldron. They're actually good for all of the eclipses until 2025, and it does include horoscopes for all 12 signs. Hasta nakshatra, where this lunar eclipse is happening, is a very blessed sign in that it has a special connection to the god of the sun, Savitur, the rising sun. And the light of understanding, the brilliant light that allows us to see into the darkness, that dispels the ignorance. Yeah. I think this lunar eclipse could be a time when there's a lot of opportunity to let go, disentangle, allow for the past to run its course, Ganga, flow away, forgive. Okay, so let's just see what the tarot cards have to say about this upcoming lunar eclipse in Hasta. Okay, so the first card that came through was actually the sun, what I was just talking about, Savitur, the rising sun. You know that the sun is also the Atma. It's said that in some traditions that this is where the soul returns to after death. It's one of the transitional places to check back in to the source of life. There's something about this time that I think can be very freeing. And even though there is this intense alignment of Mars and Saturn affecting the world and creating so much trouble and intolerance and hardship, there is a light here. That inner light of truth, our connection to what is eternal, to guidance, to clarity. And the Knight of Discs came up. This is a sign, this is a card, I mean, of the sign Virgo, which is actually where this lunar eclipse is happening on the sidereal zodiac. Now I know in Western, I think it's probably Libra, but it's actually Hasta, the nakshatra Hasta falls within the sidereal sign of Virgo. It's about how we connect to the earth that feeds us, the crops, the service that we do, in the work that we do to feed ourselves and to help feed others. And the Two of Wands, very auspicious cards actually coming up for this lunar eclipse. This is a card of the energy Mars, part of the alignment that I was speaking again about this Saturn-Mars energy. But this card speaks more of this ability, this energy to make a change, to cooperate, to see things from new angles. And there is a special power that Mars does have right now because of Jupiter's position in Aries, Mars's sign. There's what we call Rasi Dristi, a sort of energizing sambandha between Jupiter and Mars that is actually giving some protection, also some charisma or energy as well. Sometimes we need to stir the pot. Sometimes we need a little bit of friction to come into a new way, a new creative potential, a new playing field. And so, although lunar eclipses and solar eclipses are not a good time to be starting something new, actually, not like signing contracts or making big commitments, but the cards seem to be saying anyway, it is a time to be playing with new ideas, perhaps staying home to maybe and being grounded into the earth. If you are a gardener, getting into the garden, really starting this springtime to make sure that you have some vegetables growing. Come back to your roots and the earth that feeds you. Feel the earth beneath your feet. Come back to the light, the inner light that guides you, the light that connects us all to wisdom and truth. There's a new way to work, there's a new way to connect. There's the possibility to break from the past, be playful and open. Open your heart to the colors of spring and the new possibilities coming forward. Okay, well, happy Holi, and thank you for coming to this full moon lunar eclipse forecast. I do offer one-on-one readings on Zoom. Even from here in India, I am doing them. So if you want to get a Vedic astrology reading or a tarot reading, or both, you can order one on my website, anandastrology.com. Also check out my blog if you haven't already. I do write a lot on my website. And also follow me on Instagram and subscribe to this YouTube channel.